I want to start by going over my personal votes for my top artists. And I'm also going to read your submissions as well. I did a couple story posts on the Rave Culture Cast Instagram. So I do want to read, there weren't too many votes here, but I do want to read like what you guys said as well. So we're going to pull that up in a second here. But my top artists, in my opinion, I'm going to start with, let's just start from number one. And I'm going to play some songs here too. So number one, I personally think Vintage Culture was my top artist of 2021. And here's why. I have John Summit as number two. So I do very much agree with Spotify. Like, I fucking love John Summit. I've listened to him so much, but Vintage Culture stole my heart. He was also, I believe, the top producer according to, I think that was 1001 track list, but he took the freaking world by storm. I just think his music is incredible. He's a Brazilian artist, house artist, and every remix he did, every collaboration, like there was, every track he put out was fire in my opinion. And I finally got to see him live at EDC Orlando, and it was everything I dreamed of and more. So Vintage Culture solidified himself. I could not stop listening to him the entire year, and I'm completely and utterly obsessed. So he like moved into my top artist spot. John Summit's number two. We kind of already talked about him, but again, like, he's just on fire. I think he's an incredible producer. I love the tracks he puts out. He's put out some more like, he's put out a ton of the club bangers, but he's also put out some like chiller stuff as well. And he's had some really good collabs too. And him live is on another level. And I'm like, I just love his personality. Like, his life is literally a bender. So we love John Summit. I would say my third favorite artist of the year was LPGOB. I haven't shut up about her. I completely fell in love with her this year, and I have the Festival Insider podcast to thank for that. My co-host Michael Julian introduced me to LP, and we got to interview her. I think that was in February or March, before her career like absolutely popped off. I remember MJ saying to me like, this girl is going to be fucking huge, and he was completely right. And she could not be like a cooler person. Just like, her soul lights on fire when she performs, and she is an incredible, uplifting house artist. She is a beautiful musician. She plays piano live, and her songs are just so soulful. And on top of that, she is an activist as well. She co-founded Femme House, which is an organization that helps women and non-binary, the entire like LGBTQ plus community, anybody who basically like isn't really seen or appreciated in the dance music industry. She helps them with their music engineering, and she does production courses. Femme House offers production courses, and they teach, again, like women and non-binary folks how to basically become like really incredible producers and sound engineers. So I think what they're doing is amazing. Hopefully we'll have more to come on them in the future, but I think, what Femme House is doing and what LP is doing is really, really cool. So I really, really adore her. I would put my fourth top artist as Dom Dalla. I completely agree with Spotify. Like, he just makes me feel so happy. He's my favorite artist probably to shuffle and dance to. Like, I cannot get enough of his releases that he put out this year. And I just like absolutely love like his music. So very big fan. I know we have a lot of house music here. Sorry. There's not really a variety. My fifth top artist for the year is actually Art Bat, because Art Bat crept up on me again. Like, I kind of wanted to listen to some artists that weren't in my normal like circle of people, and Art Bat is one of those artists that's like got a very interesting sound to them. But their song Flame is going to come up in a little bit. I just really think they're such a cool electronic act, and I think their sound is super interesting, and it feels very fresh and modern. So I'm excited to see what Art Bat does in the future. I only got to see them live for like 30 minutes at EDC Vegas, and it was really incredible, but I definitely want to see them again. So those are my top 5 artists. My honorable mentions, I still have Sophie Tucker on here. I still have Medusa. I have Seven Lions, of course, because he wasn't anywhere on my Spotify. But I promise, guys, he didn't go anywhere. I still love and adore him. He put out some incredible music this year. I also have West End. West End for sure was one of those artists that came onto my radar this past year, and I completely completely am obsessed with him. One of my favorite emerging artists, amazing tech house artist. So really, really love him live. He's incredible. And then I also had Will Clark on here because again, like I've known of Will Clark, but he also is somebody that I think is like very much innovating in the house music space. And I got the pleasure to meet him at ARC. And he's one of the Elro artists as well. And he's played a couple shows, but I think he's put out some really, really like forward thinking house music this year. So those are, in my opinion, my top artists.